So, wow. That's an earful of corruption and cronyism and just you do this and I'll do that and together we will take over this industry that we once hated and locked people up for participating in, and even so much as lock people up for using and possessing marijuana. Alright, well, the commission initially agreed to award the planned 15 cultivation licenses to applicants with the highest scores regardless of their location in the state. But a last-minute motion from Commissioner Harry Robshaw eliminated the applications that received the 14th and 15th highest scores. The commission moved up two of the lower-scoring applicants to ensure that companies approved to grow marijuana were more evenly distributed across the state. More like, okay, we'll take away these last two and give two of you guys the ability to do both. The commission has not said how the winning applicants were ranked. Companies that did not win approval are not permanently shut out of the market. Sure. They're going to need to figure something out when all these people that say they know what they're doing don't do. The commission can award more licenses if supply falls short of demand. In the medical marijuana world, supply always falls short of the demand. Always, always, always. That's why it costs so much. There's never been a time when the supply met the demand. And the more of these ridiculous states like that have laws that are unworkable and people that don't know how to work them, the more you're going to have black market medical marijuana coming in to these states. So there's never going to be that time when you're like, okay, we have enough marijuana supply, we can lower the prices and practically give this stuff away and everybody will be happy. It'll never be like that. It's a lot of work, man. Anyway, some winners may choose to merge with other companies with state approval, giving them the option to, in effect, sell their rights to grow. Oh boy, that's going to be a funny one to see. The commission must approve mergers and could veto them if a prospective team member is found to have a criminal background or history of financial troubles. So I'm going, wow. Instead of being like a grassroots thing that might help people that could be in a life where their criminal background that they're trying to get away from is still holding them down. For example, nonviolent drug offense, then you can't get a job or go to college after you get out of your 2-year or 3-year in prison sentence or more. Ruin your life, but guess what? Now marijuana is legal, but you can't even participate in it because you got a record or you have financial troubles. When has financial troubles become such a big deal for getting some kind of a license to do something or whatever? I mean, financial troubles everybody has, especially people that run businesses. You're gonna sooner or later you're gonna have financial troubles, guaranteed. It don't mean you suck at life and you don't deserve a chance, or you should just not get a license to do something. Some of the most notable losing applications included GTI Maryland, which had former U.S. Capitol Police Chief and Senate Sergeant-at-Arms Terrence Gaynor as its Secretary Director, and former Baltimore Ravens tackle Eugene Monroe as an investor, and with CBH Ventures, a team of former state troopers turned activists against drug laws. Maybe on that state trooper thing, that'd be really nice if that was who that was, and really sad that they got turned down, because maybe they weren't playing ball. Maybe they were like, oh hey, if we got these guys in, then it might look like we're with the slippery slope to total legalization or something. But whatever, rewind it a little bit more. Eugene Monroe, this guy is a major medical marijuana activist for the NFL. He no longer plays for the NFL because he wisened up. He realized that no, these head injuries are serious and these concussions are frying my brain, and yes, medical marijuana is helping that. But yeah, the real smart thing to do would be stop being a Baltimore Ravens tackle. You ever see what those guys do every day? Woo! It's like sanctioned, brutal assault. Anyway, sad that he didn't get involved in this. U.S. Capitol Police Chief and Sergeant at Arms Terrence Gaynor. I don't know much about him, man. I hope he's a good guy. I hate it when these federal people that used to bust you for marijuana try to make money off it now because it's so-called legal. Some well-financed out-of-state companies also faltered in their bids, including the Minnesota grower Peak Harvest Health and New York healthcare company Alternative Medical Maryland. Man, I don't know. I'd be happy with just doing my business in New York or Minnesota or wherever you're doing good. Keep doing it, man. Why do you need to go plant your seeds in Maryland? What's the big deal? I mean, especially if you've seen the climate around this marijuana thing. You know, you started out with Martin O'Malley. Just kind of, you've seen that guy probably if you pay attention to politics when he was running for president. He's just a laid-back guy, you know, you don't really, like, live and let live. Man, he's a Democrat, so he's already kind of, like, probably should be on the side of legalizing all drugs for the purpose of freedom and liberty and, you know, tax and regulate. I mean, anyway, all right. One of the politically connected companies in doctor's orders, the group hired Delaware Dan K. Oh no, we already got that. We're out of there. All right, so that's basically the summary of that article from the Washington Post. Real quick, we'll go this little chart they provided. As you can see, that's the kind of people that get involved in the marijuana game when medical marijuana is legalized by the legislature. 26 of these people have political ties, 30 of them have law enforcement ties, and 47 of them have out-of-state ties. Does that sound like grassroots to you? Now, when the people pass a marijuana law where they go out with petitions and collect signatures, and then they turn the signatures in, and it becomes something that's on the ballot in November for people to vote on, and it gets approved, then you get a program where it's more of a program for the people, like in Michigan, where I am a caregiver, so I grow 12 plants for each patient. And the plants are, you know, we grow plants in a grow facility, like whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be sophisticated and warehouse and you're growing thousands of plants. I can grow a maximum of 72 plants in flowering rooms or whatever, and I doubt that I even have that many ever. I got outdoor plants right now and indoor plants, and I still don't have 72 plants. I wish I did, but it's a lot of work, and it's also a lot of room. 72 plants takes up more room than I even have. So, yeah, of course I want to expand my operation, but am I greedy? Do I want to take it off? Nope. Nobody should. Nobody should expect that it's some kind of a get-rich-quick, and we're going to make billions of dollars, oh yay, off of this stuff, because this is a medical marijuana law we're talking about in Maryland, not just recreational marijuana, where if you're a former law enforcement officer looking to cash in on marijuana legalization, recreational seems like more of your thing. I don't get why all of a sudden you think you're going to be some kind of expert in medical marijuana because you've been busting people for marijuana your whole life. That's ridiculous. Maryland is totally getting it wrong, doing it wrong, putting it together wrong, and the only thing I can see coming out of this is continued failure. They've already been failing since the medical marijuana law was set to take effect, effective June 1st, 2014. Anybody seen a calendar lately? I'm looking at one right now. It says August 2016. The date 16. No, this is the 17th. Anyway, it's almost the 18th, which means every day there's somebody in Maryland that doesn't have medical marijuana. If they do, they acquired it illegally through some underground black market source, or and they're putting that person that they got it from at risk as well as themselves, because now you got people that have to smuggle marijuana across the borders and whatever is going on. I don't even know. I don't live there. I remember when marijuana wasn't legal in Michigan. There's always a market, there's a black market there. It's usually not as ominous and demonous as people say, like, oh yeah, the guy that sells you marijuana, sooner or later he's going to offer you heroin and meth and shit. I mean, it's not that bad. Not even in the inner cities, I don't think. But, Maryland's got Baltimore. Maryland's got some DC action. Maryland is a pretty big place. There's a lot of people that live there. I don't think that 15 grow operations is going to be able to handle that. That's right away. I mean, if these people that have never grown marijuana before, all of a sudden they got 15 grow operations, they have to provide marijuana for millions of people. Well, not millions of people, but I don't know how many people are going to be qualified as patients. It sounds like they're trying to set up a thing where, oh yeah, so now once these laws take effect, which was 2 years ago, you have to go to the doctor and get your medical card and your patient card or your caregiver card and blah, 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 blah. No, you guys decriminalize marijuana. You can't even get a felony or a misdemeanor. It's just a fine or some citation or something. What do you mean you need a medical marijuana card? No, I don't. I got a medical marijuana defense. As long as I got marijuana and you try to arrest me with it, which shouldn't happen because it should just be assumed that this person's got medical marijuana, then therefore, okay, give me a ticket and I go to court and boom, I prove that I'm using it for medical purposes. Boom. I don't get why they got to go through all this. You already decriminalized. And now you're finally saying, hey, we got a way that we're going to grow the marijuana and process the marijuana and make the medicine for the people and even distribute it with the 90 some odd dispensaries that they're planning to have. 90 dispensaries. That doesn't sound like a whole lot. But anyway, be it as it may, there's so many industries that just got snubbed. Like in the town I live in, which is a very small town, I think the population is supposed to be like 3,000 to 5,000 or something, depending on how far out in the country you want to go. There's 4 or 5 grow stores in the area, and there's many dispensaries for this small of an area. If you had this many areas this small across a place as big as Maryland, that'd be about 500 dispensaries at least, probably more like closer to 1,000. There's a lot of dispensaries around here. I live by this place called the Green Mile, and there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them right on that in 1 mile. So I feel sorry for the patients in Maryland. I feel sorry because when it comes down the pipe and you go to get that Simpson oil, it's going to be like $50 to $100 a gram. When you go to get that Charlotte's Web equivalent of pure CBD, it's going to be, I don't even know, expensive. It's this medical marijuana program was a loser from the beginning, and it's a slow motion loser. It's like, okay, we figured it out. This is never going to work before it even starts. The worst part about it, and if you go to the message boards on these Washington Post articles, or if you go to the local Maryland boards and look at some of those, you're going to see the same pissed off reaction over and over and over again. Why the fuck are you letting cops, DEA agents, the people that used to lock everyone up for marijuana, why are they given the permissions to run the operations and not the grassroots people